Have you ever stopped to realize how much you are letting your day to day circumstances completely run your internal state? Because a change or fluctuation in money, in schedule, an algorithm drop, a bad traffic jam, or people's moods, it all adds up. Are you letting that outside world dictate how you feel or how you go through the craziness of day to day life? In today's episode, we are talking about what it looks like to stop living as a reactive thermometer to your environment and how to start anchoring into your own internal thermostat so you can hold your setting no matter what is moving around you. However, before we go into today's juicy episode, I want to have a really honest moment with you. If you've been listening to this podcast and finding yourself constantly recognizing these patterns, the overthinking, the exhaustion, the people pleasing, and that feeling of completely losing yourself the second your circumstances change, that is exactly why I created She Who Aligns. Because look, awareness is beautiful, beautiful, but eventually there comes a point where you have to realize, okay, I can see the pattern perfectly, but I'm still living inside the pattern. She Who Aligns is the exact digital journey I designed to take you from just understanding your loops to actually integrating them so you can stop unconsciously abandoning your own peace. It's going to be available right now on my website, and it's a beautiful journey that you do at your own pace. And listen, if you've missed the live Step into Alignment workshop that I had last Wednesday and you're ready for that next level container, I am officially bringing this back mid-September. The waitlist is open right now and spots are going to go fast because this is live. This is a live transmission. We go there live. There is a replay that is going to be included. So you might want to just go ahead and click the link in the show notes. You can grab your copy of She Who Aligns, right? Because it's a digital download and you can instantly start working on it. And also you can get on the wait list and get your name today so you can join me in September. Okay, friend. And now let's talk about thermostat versus thermometer. Welcome to Rewire to Align, a space where we break the patterns keeping you stuck and bring your brain, nervous system, and energy back into coherence. I'm Michelle Murray, neurospiritual alignment coach and creator of Align. This is where neuroscience meets spirituality and where you stop overthinking and start understanding what's actually driving your reality. If you're ready to see yourself clearly and finally shift what's been looping, you're in the right place. Hello, friend. Welcome back to Rewire to Align. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Michelle Marie, and every Tuesday we come here to talk about alignment through neuroscience, through spirituality, and other tools like human design, universal law that I love and that have helped me to live in alignment in my own life. And when I say alignment, I'm talking about the coherence between your mind, your body, your energy, and your actions, so you can create a life you actually have the capacity to hold. This is episode number 79. Can you believe that we are on our 79th episode? And it lives under the neuro mindset category in the episode catalog that I hope you're using because it's the fastest way to find episodes by category and binge on your favorites. And the other day, I was driving my daughter Sophia to school, and I was tuning into a psychology podcast or show. Don't remember what the name is. And they were having a conversation. And one of the people were not complaining, but kind of telling the story of what happened that day. And then the other person said, but wait, are you being a thermometer or a thermostat in your life? And the person was kind of shocked with the question. And I am like, wow, this is such an important conversation. I have to bring it. I have to bring it to Rewire to Align. I have to bring it to the podcast because the more I sat with that, the more I realize how deeply this connects to what? To alignment, which is the entire framework of my work, to emotional regulation. And it also connects to the way we move through our everyday life, our everyday environments. So today, we're going to explore what it actually means to stop living as a thermometer, right? Reacting to the room, and start anchoring into your own internal thermostat and temperature. I know this dynamic very intimately because for a long time, and I think I've told you this in one episode, I was incredibly hypervigilant of the emotional climate inside my own marriage. I would scan my husband's mood. I would track his energy. You know, when you wake up and all of a sudden your partner is like weird, then you're like, oh my God, what is happening? So you start tracking the energy. And then I started picking up on the slightest shift in his tone or his presence. And the moment I detected any tension, I would immediately slide into compliance. I started over accommodating, twisting myself to fit his emotional state, completely out of a deep subconscious fear of losing the love, of losing the connection. Because the truth is that I didn't learn this behavior inside my marriage. I've been married for 23 years. I didn't learn this inside there. I brought it into my marriage because I learned it as a little girl, navigating the unpredictable emotional climate in my house around my mother. Mommy, I love you so much, but it's the truth. But I love you. This is not to blame you or anything like that. I love that I was able to see the pattern and reframe it. And now I'm not doing that anymore. But I grew up in a home where you had to stay perfectly calm on the outside. And internally, sometimes I was carrying a baseline of silent anxiety just to keep the peace. And when you carry those childhood settings straight into your adult life, your career, your closest relationships, I mean, everywhere, you're not actually navigating your life. You are living as a pure thermometer, unconsciously, right? Letting the external climate dictate your internal setting, rewriting who you get to be just to stay safe, just to stay loved, just to stay connected, accepted, whatever it is. Which is exactly why understanding the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat changes everything, and exactly why I'm bringing this conversation here now. Think about how much we constantly absorb and adapt to each other emotionally without a single word being spoken. Have you ever walked into a room and feel that something is off? Or have you ever been seated in the room and then all of a sudden there comes this person that shifts the energy, either positive or negative? You can feel sometimes the room reacting to one person. You can feel the room reacting to a calm person, or when you're talking to a specific person, how they make you feel calmer and other people make you feel a little unsettled. Or maybe sometimes you open your phone and read a text and feel anxiety, and sometimes you feel your body reacting to something in your surrounding. You feel your energy shifting because the energy in the room, again, is weird or is good or is, just something shifted. You see, your body feels that shift before your mind even understands what's happening. And there is a heavy physiological and psychological reality behind why your body does this automatically. Our nervous systems are hardwired for co-regulation. we have these things called mirror neurons, which are basically the brain's internal copy and paste mechanism that lets you physically feel what an environment or a person is experiencing. Through those mirror neurons, subtle posture shifts and subconscious scanning, your brain is constantly reading and mimicking the somatic states around you. And when I say somatic, I mean the physical vibes and the tension inside the bodies around you. The part of your brain that is involved in detecting threat is what? The amygdala, friend. We've spoken about this many times. This is constantly scanning your environment. This is constantly asking, am I safe? Is something wrong? Do I need to adjust to survive? I mean, you know why they do that, because the brain is wired for safety, right? It wants to keep us safe. So if you grew up in a home where you had to adapt to stay safe, your amygdala became hypersensitized. You learn how to notice hyper subtle tone shifts or microexpressions because your brain connected hyper awareness with physical protection. And life is so funny. Oh my God, the universe is so funny. It's funny how life works, isn't it? We so often end up what? Marrying or attracting the exact people who brings us back into our original wounds, or what I call, because they are the greatest teachers. Being in relationship is the greatest lesson. They help us heal what we need to heal. In relational psychology, they call this the imago blueprint, which is the reality that our subconscious is drawn to partners who mimic the emotional climate of our primary caretakers. Thank you very much. Your subconscious recognizes the familiar energy of childhood and it goes, oh my God, this feels like home. This is familiar. And what happens is that once you are inside that familiar environment, sometimes there's a deeper loop that takes over that is called repetition compulsion. Did you remember repetition compulsion? Episode 71. It is the unconscious drive to recreate the painful emotional setups of our past. Not because you're a masochist and you want to suffer, friend. That's not what's happening. But because our nervous system is desperately looking for a second chance to fix it. We unconsciously choose a familiar landscape. And listen, for me, that landscape was an unpredictable emotional climate. Oh my God. It took me a whole lot of time to learn this one. For you, it might look entirely different. Maybe it was financial instability. Maybe it was a parent who was physically or emotionally absent, or a home where love was only given when you achieve something perfect. But whatever that childhood environment looked like, our nervous system plays the exact same game. We walk right back into it, hoping that this time, if we can just be compliant enough, perfect enough, high achieving enough, hyper aware enough, we can finally master the pattern, protect the connection, and secure the safety we never fully felt as kids. Yes, let that land. Let it land. And this goes even deeper than just body language. In the spiritual space, because I love that, you know it, we talk a lot about the aura, your unique energetic feel. And you know what's beautiful is that finally science is catching up to this. The Heart Math Institute published a study called The Energetic Heart. Check it out when you can, where they proved that the human heart produces an electromagnetic field, which is actually, friend, the strongest biochemical field in the body. And they discovered that this field changes based on our emotional state, and it can be measured several feet away from our physical body. So when you walk into a room and you feel that instant spike of tension or anxiety, you're not imagining things, you're not crazy. It's happening, friend. It's happening. Your nervous system is literally registering another person's electromagnetic field. Your body is physically interacting with their energy before a single word is spoken. This is exactly why the distinction between a thermometer and a thermostat changes everything, and why I wanted to bring this topic here, because a thermometer has no agency. It can only what? It can only react. Its entire existence is dictated by the temperature around it. If the room is chaotic, the thermometer spikes. If the room is cold, it drops, right? Have you ever see yourself doing this? However, a thermostat, it operates from what? From internal coherence. A thermostat does not ignore the room. No, it actually relies on an accurate reading of the environment to do its job. The difference is that for a thermostat, the temperature of the room is just data, it's information. It's not an instruction to abandon its own internal setting. And this is where alignment becomes your ultimate power. And to me, true alignment is not just a concept, it's a whole way of being, and it's the framework of my entire coaching and teaching and everything I do. It is complete internal coherence across all of your four bodies: your mental body, your physical body, your energetic body, and your emotional body. When your thoughts, your somatic safety, your emotional state, and your energetics are unified, you stop living as a reactive thermometer. That four-body coherence is what allows you to become a thermostat. It is what makes you deeply grounded and unshakable and anchored in your true sovereignty. This is what I tell the ladies that are inside my coaching container or in the Facebook community. You need to anchor yourself, right? You can notice the chaos, you can see the tension, but you're unshakable, and your anchor and your internal setting remains yours to hold. From this space of sovereignty, of energetic sovereignty, you realize that if you are always matching the room, you are not living your life. You are letting the room live through you, which leads me to a massive misunderstanding about what regulation actually means. Before we move into the last part of this breakdown, let's just have a real moment together. If you're listening to this and you're nodding your head because you recognize these loops in your own life, the overthinking, the exhaustion, the constant adapting, I want you to know that this is exactly why I created and wrote She Who Aligns. Because look, awareness is a beautiful first step, but it's only that. It's a first step. And eventually there comes a day where you realize, okay, I can see the pattern. I can see everything so perfect, but how do I actually stop living inside of it? She Who Aligns is the exact digital ecosystem I created to help you move past just intellectualizing your loops so you can actually start integrating them somatically and return home to yourself. It is a complete deep dive, beautiful book available right now on my website, instant download, a fillable PDF so that you can move through it at your own pace. It is a journey. It is not something that you are going to complete in a week. It is a journey. So if you are ready to stop unconsciously abandoning your own peace and finally hold your own setting, you have to head to the show notes and grab your copy today. Okay, let's go back to the episode to speak about that misunderstanding about what regulation actually means. A lot of people think regulation means forcing themselves to appear endlessly calm. Oh my God, I'm so calm and soft and spiritually unbothered and I am so regulated, right? No. Well, ignoring the tension in the room or ignoring themselves or feeling something different inside. But staying quiet while your body feels unsafe, over accommodating to avoid conflict, or abandoning your truth just to keep everyone else comfortable, that is not regulation, amiga. That is self-abandonment dressed up as calmness. And believe me, I've been there. I am telling you this because I speak from experience. And on episode 71, I broke down the full timeline of how this exact loop impacted my relationships and my physical health. And I'm going to leave that link in the show notes for you. Real regulation is the capacity to act as a thermostat. It means you can see the room shifting, but you can stay mentally, emotionally, energetically, and physically anchored in your own choice. Sometimes that looks like taking a slow breath before reacting to somebody's comment. Sometimes it looks like recognizing you're starting to spiral instead of unconsciously collapsing into it. Sometimes it looks like saying no, setting a clear boundary, or simply leaving an environment that no longer feels aligned for you. Listen, amiga, the goal is not to ever be affected by life. Let's be honest. That is completely unrealistic. We are here having these 3D experiences. We're human beings with a beautifully sensitive nervous system living in a deeply connected world. You are going to feel things. The environment will move around you. The true goal is simply to stop unconsciously losing connection to yourself every time that emotional temperature changes, every time the environment changes, every time there's a shift wherever you are. So instead of judging yourself when you catch your nervous system collapsing into old emotional patterns, just notice it. Awareness is always the first step. It's always the first step in my aligned to sovereignty process is the first step. Because the truth is that you cannot shift what you are still unconsciously living inside of. And sometimes the work is simply catching yourself in the moment and realizing, oh my God, I'm getting lost in the room again. I'm emotionally adapting myself again. I am trying to tweak myself again. Oh my God, I am spiraling again. Yeah? So that is the work, the awareness step. That is the first step. Beautiful soul. If you take away just one thing from our conversation today, let it be this. You do not have to keep repeating those old childhood loops just to force a sense of safety, of connection, or being loved. That is just the repetition, compulsion playing out. And hear me when I say this, your survival no longer depends on you abandoning yourself. You are a grown woman now. You have the right, you have the power, you have the capacity to hold your own internal setting. You get to be the thermostat. So tell me, where in your life do you notice yourself becoming a thermometer instead of a thermostat? Is it in relationships, family, work, disability, conflict, social media? Where do you notice yourself emotionally losing connection to yourself the fastest? You can come and share with me because I always invite you to share with me or share inside the private Facebook community Rewire to Align. Also, on my DMs on Instagram at Michelle Marie Pacheco. I love hearing how these conversations are landing for you and what they're bringing up inside of you. We can all benefit from each others aha moments or insights. And if you're realizing that this is deeper work, you're ready to explore, remember that you have She Who Aligns available on my website. And also, if you want to jump and work deeper with an accountability partner that is going to be there every week, you can jump into my private coaching container. However, on these, I have limited spaces. So if you want to jump, just let me know. You can send me the word align in Instagram in my DMs and we can talk about it. Remember, awareness is where alignment begins. And every moment you become conscious of where you're abandoning yourself is also a moment you can begin returning back home to yourself. Amiga, maybe the real work is learning how to stop living like a thermometer, emotionally losing yourself every time the environment around you changes, and instead becoming more of a thermostat, staying connected to yourself while life, emotions, relationships, and uncertainty move around you. So that's a question you always want to ask yourself when you're feeling a little resistant or when your body feels a little resistant, because that is where alignment begins to become sovereignty. I'm sending you so much love, and I look forward to being with you next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard today resonated with you, the best way to support the show is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps me continue creating content that empowers you and deepens your spiritual connection. Just scroll down to write a review and share your thoughts. And if you love what Rewire to Align is about, share it with your friends and family. I truly believe the world transforms when we come together to create positive change. I look forward to be with you again next week.